Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the post-May Day Big Freaking Friday here on the College Football Mafia Network. I am, of course, your host, Moen, joined tonight by Wild Ute, and our partner in crime tonight is the one, the only, the other Gygax, Daniel Gygax, the man with the facts. I want to thank everybody for coming in here tonight. How are you gentlemen doing?
Doing freaking excellent. Happy Friday to you guys, to our community, everybody else. Let's freaking go.
Doing really good. Another fun Friday.
Absolutely. We've got football to talk about. We've got Pac-12 realignment. We've got executive orders. We've got media deals for the Pac-12 that may or may not happen with many. They might be entering into a polyamorous relationship.
Definitely are, yeah.
Just want to give a shout out real quick to our friend Nate. Nate is still recovering from pneumonia. He could not join us here tonight, but I talked to him yesterday. He was feeling a lot better yesterday. He was sitting up. He was able to talk. So very good to see that from him. He should be back with us Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, I would imagine. But just want to say thoughts and prayers out to him and his continued recovery. Let's go ahead and say hello to some people, guys, because they got here earlier than we did. So let's say hello to some of them. MK, if it was going to be Texas State, it would have already happened. Nothing is preventing it. The delay is because of the lawsuits. UNLV is the clear target. Pac is talking to them.
If UNLV was to go, they've got another Wolfpack backpack to deal with.
You think so? You think that you really think that Nevada's going to backpack on UNLV?
Well, here's the problem: it's all ran by one board. It's not like that. UNLV is this. It's the Las Vegas campus of the University of Nevada. It's all ran by one group. Same thing that like what you have with North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
We've got a new member here. LA Hornfrog has become a new member. That's hot. Hot. Thank you for becoming a member, LA Hornfrog Plus. Good to see you. We have a lot of member stuff coming up. In fact, this Thursday, members only live stream The Path of the Hurricanes on the Capo Cabana. You want to give a little preview of that real quick?
Absolutely. So Miami, the Hurricanes, big time Big Ten target. We all know that Big Ten's going to look heavy at Miami. And the question is that we need to ask ourselves, how much could Miami theoretically accept and still go to the Big Ten? How much could they afford? How much would they be willing to go for? What do the dollars look like if it's not a full share? And we're really diving into that analysis on Thursday. It's all going to be on Miami. Really, what could be happening in the future? What could that invite look like if that were to come? And we do think it's going to come here.
Absolutely. And then we've got a gifted membership from our friend Ricky Tungate. He gifted one membership to the College Football Mafia family. Thank you so much, Ricky. That person, Carrie Knowles Jags, can now join us on Thursday night for that. Appreciate that, Ricky Tungate. My Hoosier brother, my friend. Let me see if I've got a good one here. Here we go.
He's my best friend. He's my pal. He's my homeboy, my rotten soldier.
Man, is that AI? What is that?
No, that's Laszlo from What We Do in the Shadows. Ricky, thank you so much for the gifted membership. If anybody else is feeling generous, you can always gift a membership, leave a super chat, leave a super sticker, all by selecting the little cash icon in the chat window. Ricky, I am pulling for you guys to keep that strength and conditioning coach. USC is now on my shit list because I took a recruit from Ohio State. So I don't want to see that strength and conditioning coach go out there to USC. I'd like to see Indiana be able to continue to build on the success of this season. So go Hoosiers. Conundrum's here. He says Nebraska to the Pac-12. Sounds like something an Iowa Hawkeye would say. Followed up Kevin yes, saying hello, gentlemen, and Iowa to the ACC. Jackson Johnson's in the house. Good to see you, Jackson.
Hey.
You're doing well this Friday. He says, "What's up, CFB Mafia Nation?" Then Bob Swanger's here. He says, "Good evening, everyone. Good to see you, Bob. Congratulations on some of them receivers you've got out of the transfer portal." Stephen Vitt, right down the road from me. He's an Ohio Bobcat. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm here.
Hey.
I'm here. Allergy suck and Claritin doesn't work. Don't buy it. Yeah, I get it. Prescription strength. You got to get the prescription strength kind. It's called Loratadine. It's a prescription strength kind. Talk to your doctor about it. And by the way, if any pharmaceutical companies want a sponsorship here on the Big Freaking Friday show, by all means, let us know. I will plug the drugs.
Cheers to that, Moan.
Coy says hi, all. Good to see you, Coy. John Charette. I hope I didn't pronounce that name incorrectly. Dilly Dilly to you as well. MBM says go Pokes.
Heck yeah.
Will we play the Cartman Wild West song tonight? Gygax, the fighter of Godzilla.
Whoa.
Is that accurate? Gygax? Is that
Go Godzilla?
There's a name similar to that, but I don't think it's Gygax. It's Gigan. It's Gigan.
Gigan.
It's Gigan.
Gigan.
Oh, there's a Giger, but that's off of a not a Godzilla, but the turtle, and I can't remember his name to save my life.
The turtle is Gamera. Charles M says polygamous. I don't know. It depends on how much money you got, Charles. What's up, CFM? Go Utes. Well, that's something that I'm sure Ute can agree with.
Heck yeah, go Utes.
Trap House 901 in the house says Memphis. Still pushing that Memphis Tulane USF. We're going to see. Charles says, give me Texas State heads up over UNLV for the Pac-X. Actually, it'd be the Pac-8. Day One Rob, he's just letting us know he is a San Diego State Aztec. Nevada Reno will get Nevamoni.
Nevamoni. Nevada-moni.
I think it would be Nevada-moni, right? From UNLV.
Nevamoni. How much is that going to be, though, guys? Like, let's be honest. If Carolina Moni is like $10 million, if Calamoni is $10 million, what is Nevada?
Maybe mill half, too.
Couple quarters.
Well,
we're not talking a lot.
Here's just an idea. Maybe don't have two G6 conferences on the West Coast. I don't know. Crazy idea, I know. Pac-12, this is from John Nelson. Pac-12 needs to add Texas State and Sam Houston. Lee says Indiana gave him a pay raise for him to stay. I'm sure they did give him a pay raise. I hear USC is still calling. Sam Houston is on an upward trajectory. The other non-AAC and non-MWC teams have all leveled out and aren't going anywhere. Is there an additive team for the Pac-12 U?
Yeah, there is. Do you want to look at the analysis that put together for the Pac-12 as far as like the most legitimate expansion candidates? You want to look at that and see who's going to be like more of the best fits and everything. Look,
Absolutely.
Presented this in the past, but this still holds true. So here we go. Let me share a screen. One sec. All right, check it out. So here we go. So based on the model built after the Pac, this was looking at like the serious candidates. Like Sam Houston was looked at in separate. model, Sam Houston scored pretty much last when it comes to these other candidate options for the Pac-12. So we're looking at UNLV here, Memphis, Tulane, USF, Texas State, and also Sac State. Look, Sac State was always going to be an F-level candidate. They've got money and stuff. They don't bring anything else. They don't bring a new market or anything else. So when you're looking at football history, football viewership, basketball history, market size, and the geographic proximity, there's one clear ad, and we're talking about it, is UNLV. If you wanted to grade it out based on a realignment ad for the Pac-12, as far as like realistic candidates, it would be a B-level realignment graded candidate. There would be only two. If you could get another school like an Oregon State in the Pac-12, it would be an A-level realignment candidate. But UNLV is the best ad for the Pac-12 based on the data. Then after that is Memphis. After that's Tulane, USF, then Texas State, last Sac State. Sam Houston State would fall into that last bucket too. So when we're looking at best ads here, UNLV, number one, Memphis, number two. And then based on all the chatter, we've talked about it before, it's a likely ad for Texas State, but Texas State falls way down that list. It's not additive. That's why you don't pay those guys 100% share. So I've told you guys that before. They're not worth 100% share. You can give them a 50, give them 75%. You better not pay them 100% share. They just don't add the value to your conference that everybody else brings already. So you're lifting that program. They're not lifting you. So those are the realignment candidates. That's how they score when the model looks at them. UNLV number one, Memphis number two, Tulane, USF, Texas State, Sac State. Throw USF out, too far away. Tulane's just not been pinpointed too much. Probably not very realistic. So UNLV number one, Memphis number two, Texas State number three for that eighth member.
Okay, well, there you go. Now here's a question. Texas State, if Texas State's the only available team and they're demanding 100, do you just have to pay them the 100 in order to get to 8 full members?
No.
So you're going to take somebody.
Texas State, why would you pay Texas State 100% distribution? I don't see, like, where are they going? I've told you this before.
Well,
they've got nowhere to go. They're sitting in the Sun Belt making $1 million a year. Like they've got no other choice.
But where does the Pac-12 go?
The Pac-12
needs number 8 tomorrow.
Well, you play the leverage game. You consider adding Sac State. Tell Gonzaga to form a football team. Do whatever it takes. But like seriously, like you don't give away the farm by giving Texas State 100% share. It's unwise, guys.
Okay.
Like you do so for UNLV, you do so for Memphis, but not for Texas State. You cannot do that. It's bad business.
Well, that's never stopped the Pac-12 before. James Davis says Cal to the Pac. That might be a reality sooner rather than later.
I think Cal, if we scored them out, they probably would fall third or fourth on this list. They probably wouldn't even be the number one team on this list. Oregon State and Wazoo would probably be ahead of Cal, Berkeley. But that's actually becoming more realistic.
They do have a basketball championship, granted 1959, but they do have a basketball championship.
Becky Go Huskies is in the house. She's going to join us here a little later. She's going to talk some Pac-12 stuff with us on this Friday night. Devil Frog is in the house. Good to see you, Devil Frog. Sam Houston, Stephen F. Austin, and Texas State need to be in the same conference.
I think Sam Houston and Texas State have higher aspirations than Stephen F. Austin at this point in time. I mean, Texas State's a growing institution, huge enrollment, a lot of things to add value on. They haven't taken that step to get up to like a Pac-12 level yet, being in the Sun Belt. And Sam Houston's a little farther behind, but they're growing too. And like in the media market there, look, I know they don't command everything in the media market. I've had plenty of conversations around that, but the opportunity of just so many people watching in that little trifecta area, San Antonio and Houston, it's huge, guys.
Conundrum says like button before you get blocked. You can also hit the dislike button. Either or, it's engagement. We like it. Leave a comment if you're watching on demand, even if it's to say you suck. As long as you're saying that in relation to you and Daniel, not me. If I see it, I will block you.
I was reminded a lot this last week that I don't say attribute right. I can't say the word attribute, y'all. Attribute. I don't know. Still haven't got it right, guys.
He got scorched in that video on the Big 12 stadiums for that.
Attribute.
Hey, it's engagement. It's engagement.
Yep.
Go Black 45 says, so from everything I've seen and read is that UNLV was mad that the Pac didn't go to them first, and then they decided to stay.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Why?
Well, there's also the amount of money that they're getting guaranteed from the Mountain West from the poaching fees.
What they thought, at least at the time, that was like the best case scenario. It's likely to get negotiated way down, though. We don't know if that's going to materialize, those poaching fees.
We know the poaching fees might get negotiated down, but I don't know if that's going to stop UNLV from getting what they were promised.
I think UNLV made a really tactical, huge error not going over the Pac-12. I think they can be left holding the bag. They're hurting financially. They've got to pay a lot of salaries to Mullen. Man, they really need the Pac-12. So if I were UNLV, I'd be making that jump, figuring out a way to get it done. That's the number one ad, guys, though. You had UNLV, you solved the problem, and then you move on your way. And then maybe in the next round of realignment, once you get 8 schools, then you go after Memphis and Texas State again to get the central time zone. But if you can get UNLV, that's your number one target.
But now the Mountain West will only have 7. What do they do? Who are they calling?
Yeah, they're calling the MAC.
You're not going to get Toledo.
100% they're calling MAC. They've already done it.
Yeah, but you're not going to get Toledo. There's no way that the board that runs the Ohio schools are going to let Toledo bounce and just leave Kent State and Akron and all those schools just to wither.
How many times have we had the conversation, though, about like a school leaving behind another school? That never holds. Like that's great in talk, but that never holds at the end of the day. It's all about the hard dollar. And if Toledo has a better financial offer to go play football only in the Mountain West, they going, guys. I know that MAC football is popular. I know that people love it and everything, but they're going. Northern Illinois is gone. That was probably the biggest brand outside of Toledo.
Here we go. App State and Marshall. Appy State, Boone, North Carolina is a beautiful city, but they're not going to go west. And Marshall, as much as I love the Thundering Herd, no, it can't happen.
Well, listen, guys, here's the thing. Realignment hasn't stopped yet. What's going to happen with the ACC? They're going to backfill. They're going to backfill from the AAC. Not everybody from the AAC is going to find a home. So then you've got some natural possibility for merging with the Mountain West from there. The MAC, you're probably not going to touch the MAC, and I know you don't believe it, but there are too many.
You've already touched the MAC, though, Moan.
You've touched Northern Illinois. You've touched Northern Illinois, who was not like they haven't left the MAC before. They had left the MAC previously and went independent, and then came crawling back to the MAC.
And what was that? 01, 02, they came back to the MAC, something like that.
So, but the schools in Michigan, the schools in Ohio, those are deep MAC teams. They're not leaving the MAC. As much as they may hate the time slots that they have to play in. But again, until things settle down with the ACC and we figure out who's leaving there, where they're going, who they're backfilling with, this is just a constant cycle. That's all this has been since this realignment started. Just a constant cycle of teams getting pulled from one conference to another, to another, to another. It's just a domino effect. What affects one conference affects another conference. That affects 3 more conferences. That affects 6 more conferences. And that's how we've got to the point today where we're going to have 3 power conferences and like 9 G conferences by the time this is all said and done.
I see a conference dying.
Who's dying?
A conference will die.
At least one.
Yes.
At least one. And it's probably going to be the Mountain West.
Conference USA, maybe?
Coosa might. but again, the problem is it's like two Caesars is one Caesar too many. Two West Coast G conferences is one too many.
Agreed.
And again, it didn't have to be that way. The Pac, in their arrogance, thought that they were just going to go get Tulane, Memphis, and USF, and they bypassed UNLV, which hurt UNLV's feelings. But, then they came back and they took Utah State after they went over them once already, and now they're looking for number 8, and they could have had number 8 with UNLV. They could have got the 6 they needed right away and just been done with it. But again, poor decision making on the MAC, in my opinion, or the Pac.
I think the MAC's the conference that might be under threat. Because I could see the Mountain West poaching. I mean, you could see like the trend already. The Mountain West has poached the MAC already. It's a fact, guys. Like they can do it again. They could do it again. And they probably will do it again if they need another member.
They had originally talked about taking Toledo already. Why didn't they take Toledo?
I don't know.
I do.
Why? It's because the Ohio state politics wouldn't let Toledo go?
The Ohio Department of Higher Education stepped in and said no. Because the MAC conference has 5 schools in Ohio. They're not going to let any Ohio schools leave for the Mountain West.
Do you think a directional Michigan school is going to just?
And I don't think any of the Michigan schools are either. So
how is the MAC serving these schools? I mean, they're paying them $1 million in media rights and playing football games on Tuesday nights. What service is that doing to these institutions? Toledo would be better off in the Pac-12 with better brands, more exposure. That's better.
Toledo's travel in the MAC is very minimal. It is the smallest geographic footprint of any conference.
Everything's a bus trip.
The only outlier now is UMass, that they've now brought UMass in.
Buffalo.
But everything else, you could get there with a bus trip.
Yeah, everything's a bus trip with the exception of Buffalo and UMass.
Yeah.
We're just going to disagree on this one. I see it very clearly. I don't think it's going to even be that controversial. I think it's just going to be a straight up swoop. As many MAC schools as the Mountain West wants, once they get plucked, UNLV is going to be a Pac-12 school sooner or later. Might not be today, might not be tomorrow. Texas State might get added first, but UNLV is going to be jumping over there. Not going to stay in the Mountain West. The Mountain West is going to become the best of the MAC.
How much do you think it would be additional travel going from Toledo to Utah State to Pullman to Corvallis? That's not a bus trip. That's getting on a plane and flying out. That's
you structure it just like Northern Illinois, and that's football only. So it's really not that much travel because your football team's going, and then you play in some other conference. Does it matter where else you play the other sports? They're not getting paid anyway, guys. Football's driving the bus here. Like, you're just trying to maximize the dollar if you're Toledo, and exposure, and the Mountain West certainly will do that.
And exposure with the MAC doesn't?
Well, how often do you watch the MAC?
I do. Maction. Dial up the Maction, baby. If you want excitement on a Tuesday night, put a bet on the game. Doesn't matter what you know about the MAC or don't know about the MAC. Always bet the over. If you're betting Maction, bet the over. You bet the
Why
over.
did Northern Illinois leave then? If the MAC is so great, why did they leave?
The same reason they left the first
before.
time. They've left before. They're arrogant. They believe they're the Notre Dame of the G5s. They believe they're good enough to make it on their own. They crawled
back.
What
value do they see then over the Mountain West? I mean, why is the Mountain West more valuable to them than staying in the MAC? Why did they make that decision?
They're getting paid a little more money, but it's more of the fact that they're going to be highlighted more as Northern Illinois. But congratulations, Northern Illinois. You can go out there and play against UNLV. And you'll be buried on Fox Sports 2 at 11 p.m. at night. Great. Fantastic. Lots of people watch on Fox Sports 2 at 11 p.m. at night on a Saturday. You can complain all you want about Maction being on a Tuesday night, but you know what's running up against it football-wise? Nothing. Tune in and watch a I encourage everybody, if you have not watched Maction, watch Maction. It's fun. Especially, For me, I have MAC teams I like, MAC teams I don't like. If it's a MAC team from Michigan, I don't like them. If it's a MAC team from Ohio, I would usually bet for them.
It seems like they play more serious football in the Mountain West than the MAC. I get it's fun and stuff. It's like watching high school football. Like you're playing on Tuesday night, you're playing high school football. Like you need to level up. And the Mountain West is a level up, guys. That's why Northern Illinois made the jump. That's why Toledo's going to make the jump. They'll probably get poached a couple other places with Western or Central Michigan. It just makes sense. But like that's outside the point of the Pac-12. The Pac-12, going back to like the root here of this live show, what does the Pac-12 do? Like, does the Pac-12, how do they get UNLV?
Well, it's easy how they get UNLV. They invent a time machine and they go back and they don't act like fucking idiots and take 6 teams and not, you know, start a 6-team conference and then think, well, we're just guaranteed to get these other 3 and you just wait for us, UNLV. You're just going to be our side chick on the back burner. You know, if this other chick doesn't want to go out, then we'll totally go out with you. But, yeah. All right. Bizansley. One of those G5s on the West Coast is substantially better than the other. That's why they split. Some are investing, others are not.
Right. The Pac-12 is the clear top dog.
Pac-12 is investing in Mountain West Conference, that's for sure. All right, Stu Austin brings us up, so we'll table our Pac-12 talk a little bit. Saw some tweets that suggest Trump spoke with Saban and Tommy Tuberville about issues with college sports and NIL. Another executive order incoming. So let me go ahead and share my screen here and bring up the tweet. Here we go. Let me zoom in a little bit. New President Donald Trump is considering an executive order that could increase scrutiny on NIL after meeting with Nick Saban, Wall Street Journal reports. In addition to that, there's another tweet that shows him on Air Force One with Senator Tommy Tuberville, the senator from Alabama, former head coach at Auburn and Cincinnati and Texas Tech. What do we think about this? Is this just, are they waving the white flag congressionally? Or are they saying we can't get shit done and we now have to resort to executive orders for this?
This is pretty amazing to see. This would help college football, though, if this were to happen, because I don't trust it to get through what normal processes. So maybe if there's an executive order by Trump, this does help this ridiculous NIL situation. Maybe there's more enforcement around the clearinghouse, so schools can't pay double, triple, quadruple for players like's going on right now, because it's an absolute joke. It's not fair market value for players when players are getting paid 10 times what NFL players are making. It's a freaking joke right now in college sports. It needs control, it needs regulation. Tampering needs to stop. And so I'm all for anything that steps in and polices the sucker.
What could he put on paper that is a rule? I mean, NCAA's lost everything in court that you could think of. The House settlement is still not done. Until we get that House settlement done, we still don't know how many people you can have on the team, B, how much money you can pay. So bringing in NIL, how do you do it? Do you sit there and say, oh, there's going to be a salary cap? Well, heck, there's already going to be a salary cap. But we all know it's going to get cheated on. I mean, there's nothing you can do. Anything you put on paper will end up being not worth the paper it's written on. No matter who does it. I don't think
so. Man, like if you get an executive order giving support to like the clearinghouse, this Deloitte clearinghouse, where you can actually punish schools and plus get the support of the conferences, especially the SEC and the Big Ten, I think that you can have something here where you can have bowl ban, you can really enforce the suckers. So we're just not looking at just pay for play based on the highest bidder.
What you've already got bowl bans in place. How are you going to have a president enforce it whenever the NCAA has no teeth? CFP is wanting to do enforcement, but they're still tied up with the House settlement. It's not going to end up. It's going to be a mess. It's a mess today, but what can he write on a piece of paper saying this is how I'm going to fix NIL? I don't think there's anything he can put on a piece of paper that says this is how you fix NIL.
Moan?
Yeah, I tend to agree with Daniel. I think it has no teeth. You need to have Congress. You need to have this as legislation. An executive order is going to get challenged. There's a bunch of different ways it's going to get challenged. It's going to be a stopgap at best. The minute somebody wants to challenge it, they will be in court challenging it. You won't get anything done. Congress needs to figure it out, get together, come up with something that everybody can agree with. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to actually talk to somebody, but talk to somebody, get it figured out. The American people, I think, on both sides of the aisle, politically, want to get something done to fix this. College football has, people this week, Texas's salary for this year leaked, and it was 35 to 40 million.
Right.
And people were outraged by it. Outraged. You know that next year somebody's salary is going to be 45 to 50 million.
Sure.
And the year after that, it's going to be 55 to 60 million. The problem's not going to go away. It's just going to keep getting worse until Congress actually gets off their ass and legislates this and comes to an agreement, and we all get together and maybe decide, hey, we don't have to like each other to work together. Like, I don't like you or Daniel, and we work together. So, it's one of these things that just has to happen. An executive order it's great. He signs it he signs the executive order. It's in the courts the next day and it's held up. So,
and here's the thing: when was the last time the NCAA won a case in court? I don't know. Can't think of one off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's complicated, guys. Yeah, it's just some action that's happening against the pay for play, the crazy dollars. When Quinn Ewers is going to make $8 million at Texas and he gets an $800,000 contract in the NFL, there's something sick about the sport. And it's just going to the most rich collectives. And that sucks. There's no development anymore. There's no turning a 3-star player into a 5-star player. This game's completely changed to basically professional baseball with daily free agency. That's what college football's become. And it's disgusting, honestly, as far as retaining a salary. Good luck buying a player jersey. He's probably gone the next year. Why would you invest anything into a program or a player?
I know. 50 years ago, it was the same thing. You had your Ohio States. You had your Michigans. You had your Alabamas. You had teams like that had big budgets, that had a lot of money. You had Oklahomas. And guess what? They were cheating. We all know every team was cheating 50 years ago. Every team was cheating 5 years ago. And then NIL just made cheating legal. It's no different than what it was 50 years ago to today.
I think there's just a big difference between handing an $800 bag of cash in the Chick-fil-A bag to a recruit versus paying him $8 million over the table. There's a lot different, right?
True.
So we're talking about the SEC was, of course, they had bagmen and everything, but they weren't paying multi-millions to players. $8 million, $10 million for a player nowadays?
Watch Pony Excess and Eric Dickerson got a gold Trans Am and $25,000 cash to go to A&M. He didn't go to A&M. He went to SMU. That tells you that SMU outbid A&M.
Yeah, here's the thing. This is the NCAA has nobody to blame but themselves for this. They went the extreme one way where nobody can make any money. You can't get a stipend. it was pulling teeth to get them to increase the stipend for athletes. And then when they finally got overthrown, now it's to the extreme other side. And you've got literally Texas walking recruits up a lane with Lamborghinis on both sides.
Right.
And try and tell a 17 or 18-year-old kid not to see that.
Oh yeah, we'd take that.
Yeah.
Come on, let's be honest. Like,
You're going to take that all day. So, yeah, I mean, but Congress has to get together and solve this. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how we solve it. I don't know, but we've got to do something. And I don't think an executive order holds up. I think it just goes right in the court. And we're just in this constant cycle again of we're in the court, it's on appeal. We're in the court, it's on appeal. We're in the court, it's on appeal. But Zansley says, I think the methodology is flawed. Does not take academics into account, investment into sports, budgets, etc. Well, if you want to produce your own Bizansley, you're more than welcome to do that. Butte does it his way. I do mine my way. But you're more than welcome. If you want to present something to us, just tweet at us at the CFB Mafia, and we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, and just like a response to that too, I think the lower down the conference pecking order you go, the less asks you can have, right? The Big Ten can be pretty prestigious about what they need. You have to check this box and you have to check 1,000 boxes. Can the Pac-12 do that? Can the Mountain West do that? I think that it's more just based on raw viewership and like what you can drive rather than academics, rather than endowments. Like you're just trying to maximize your TV dollars at a certain level. And I think that we're far away from like a Big Ten expansion when we're talking about Mountain West or Pac-12 expansion.
Jack Matheson says Texas State should demand 100% because they're the only option.
Sure. I mean, they can ask, what are they going to get told? No.
What about Sac State?
Not going to happen.
Well, yeah, why?
Right now, that stadium deal is a joke. There's no money for it. There's no money in the CSU system right now for athletics, much less do you think that they're going to spend $250 million for Sacramento. Not going to happen. There's no money.
If you're a media partner and you're looking at the Pac-12 with an ad of either Texas State or Sac State, will that team by itself move the needle for a big dollar amount on a media contract? I will say no. So Sac State wants to come in with basically a 0% distribution. You're making more money for 5 years based on adding Sac State over Texas State. So if they want to get a little greedy on 100% distribution, you can make more by adding the guys over there in your own state in California and stuff where you've got teams already. So that's the leverage against Texas State to not pay them 100%. It's fair, 50%, maybe 75% is a fair offer, I think.
Here's the other thing. Sac State put in that they wanted to move up to FBS as an independent, which means that instead of going into a conference where the conference vouches for you, you now have to go and defend yourself. Hey, how are you going to pay for being an independent? That was supposed to be announced this past week, and you heard nothing from the NCAA.
So you think they're in consideration still?
Well, they haven't said yes or no yet. I mean,
like, what's really, Texas State going to do if Sac State gets the invite? Texas State is going to be like, dang it, we screwed up big time on this one. We're stuck in the Sun Belt still. Like, Texas State better not screw this up. They've got a lot more to lose than the Pac-12.
Right. Sorry, I was starring comments here, guys. Pac should add Alaska Anchorage and Alaska Fairbanks.
Wasn't like the Fairbanks.
They were both in the Great Northwest Conference, Division II.
Like I say, it's closer than Hawaii is the rest of the Mountain West, so why not?
True.
If UNLV and Memphis aren't available, you give Texas State what they want, at least 75% share.
Yeah. I know that Moan feels that way. Mr. Gygax feels that way too. I think 100% distribution.
Yep. Sometimes you got to eat that shit sandwich you made.
Mhm.
I could form a G7 conference right now that competes with the Pac-12, and it would have Texas State in it. Okay, Charles. I would support, if you drop a super chat, I would support your G7 conference. We'll give it our official endorsement. State of Texas needs its own conference with all Texas teams.
They had that. It was called the Southwest Conference.
And Charles answers that. The old Southwest Conference with all Texas schools except Arkansas. And when Arkansas jumped to the SEC, the SWC was all Texas only schools.
Yep.
MBM says NIU is a natural rivalry for Notre Dame.
There you go.
Does Notre Dame have any wins over Northern Illinois? I don't know.
Holy smokes, Mo. That's a rough comment.
MBM again says Memphis, Tulane, UConn, USF to the ACC. They'll wait for an invite. Yeah, this is the reason those schools aren't going to leave, because they know that the ACC is in flux. Those schools.
I'm going to press back on you guys a little bit.
Okay.
Like that is I think the obvious thinking too. That's what I thought as well. But how much really would a media deal look like if you're backfilling with like Boston College and Wake Forest and adding Memphis, Tulane, UConn? Like, you think that you're really going to warrant like big dollars? Like, is it going to be any different than like the Pac-12? Like, we assume that like the dollars are going to remain the same, but there's going to be such a free fall in the media rights once the schools leave that it might not even be worthwhile going to the ACC at the time.
Well, we don't know. We don't know how much the Pac-12 is going to get paid in 2026. Those numbers haven't been released. They released 2025, but they haven't said anything about 2026.
$10 million. That's just, speculation there.
Almighty Finn's in the house. He says, "What's up, Mo? What's up, Almighty Finn? I had some storms here today, so I'm waiting to make sure my power stays on. I'm sure you experience the same thing over in Indiana." Bobby Madden's in the house. He says, "I'm wondering if UNLV joins the Pac with or without Texas State, which could force Air Force to the AAC. Could the Mountain West aim for an eastern wing of Northern Illinois, Toledo, Ohio, Miami, Western Michigan, Central Michigan, along with North Dakota State University for football only?"
It'd be a brilliant stroke at the Mountain.
That's a lot of movement.
That's a lot. Definitely a lot.
Now, Air Force going to the AAC for, let's say, football only. That could happen because Navy and Army are football only already with the AAC.
Friend Earl Carr's here. He has popped his 21 months for a membership. Thank you, Earl. Let's give him a cougar roar.
That's a good sounder, Moan.
Yeah, I'm trying to say. Oh, there we go. We'll get the cougar on here for you too as well. All right. Thank you so much, Earl Carr. It is much appreciated, your continued patronage. Appreciate it very much, sir. Okay, let's keep going here. Rule number 5, don't be a fucking idiot. There you go.
Is that realignment rule number 5?
Sure. Steel Austin, a Ute fan, says Big 12 equals kitty table. Boy, you Ute fans. Pac-X gets UNLV by adding Texas State, and then they don't settle with the Mountain West and don't pay, and UNLV will walk away from Mountain West Conference. Okay.
There you go. Snuff them out. Flush them out.
Rule number 17, don't ever eat gas station sushi. That's an absolute truth.
Don't do that.
CFB just joined. What have I missed? Well, first the earth cooled, and then water formed, and then single cell organisms developed. and then we built McDonald's.
And we actually talked about how Texas State is an expansion candidate, but they're actually a D-level graded candidate here based on the analysis that has been conducted. Not to say they're a horrible ad, but an ad that you do not want to pay 100% share and give up the whole table for here. So Texas State is not as good an ad as UNLV. Texas State is not as good an ad as Memphis. Texas State's a fine ad, but make sure that they're compensated accordingly. You don't pay a level price for a D-level candidate. That's what we've been talking about, CFP Plus.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's a new month. And I just realized we can do this. Let's give some away to the community here. We'll get some more members for Thursday's show. All right. No blooded. Okay. Justin Lucas, Eagle Eye, Purple Orca number 40, Cryptic Mind were all gifted memberships by the College Football Mafia to the College Football Mafia family. You are now members. Make sure you tune in on Thursday for Path of the Hurricanes. We are members only live stream for that for the month of May. You'll definitely want to check that out. And then we got a $20 super chat from MBM. Utah is the annoying cousin at the reunion that everybody hates.
Whoa. Come on, MBM. Utah loves the pokes here. Utes and pokes. What was that phone?
That was a gopher. I was looking for the cowboy. I might not. Where is
we gotta get that cowboy? Yeah, so Utah's the annoying cousin at the reunion that everybody hates. Well, I don't know what to say to that. Hey, you know, like we do our best.
Well, I know what we'll do. We'll do shots.
Cowboy living in the cowboy days. Wiki, wiki, scratch, yo, yo, bang, bang. Near an Artemis, large bug, go, says, stem, high act from the big metal spider. Wiki, 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 fresh cowboy from the west side. Sweet.
Thank you so much for this $20 super chat. MBM, I've got to find that cowboy on here somewhere. I don't know where he's at. He might only be on the Mowing After Dark page, but there we go. Let's go. Let's go. Got a $20 super chat. We've gifted 5 memberships. We've got 5 more memberships. We might give those out before the end of the stream tonight. Make sure you're tuned in. If you see that little thing pop up, click on it and you can grab a free membership. All right. Oh, I might want to take him down.
Let's go. You lacks vision, acumen.
You lacks vision, acumen.
Okay. Expand on that one, Charles, but thank you.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that one myself. But then he also says in this tweet, Utah's right on this issue.
There we go.
Utah should become the little Buckeyes, and
you know what? I think that's a fantastic idea, Conundrum. I'd be happy to be the little Buckeyes. That fits really well here, Moan.
Yeah, but the Buckeyes win Rose Bowls. Jordan's the face of UNC football. We're not going to talk about that here.
Don't want to touch it.
Yeah. Did you hear about Bill Belichick? He was asked about his girlfriend and how long she was going to be his publicist.
What did he say?
He said, as long as I can keep it up.
Oh, gee, Christmas.
Texas State is worst case backfill into the AAC, if not outright expansion.
Maybe.
Shonsky's calling a bold shot here. I think Texas is a 3-loss team after the Oklahoma game. Boy,
oh man!
If that's the case, Steve Sarkisian, he gonna have a rough one.
Sark was on the hot seat a couple of years ago.
CFB Plus says merge the Pac-12 and ACC. I assume that's after the ACC exits. Yeah. Depending on who's left in the ACC.
Yeah, you can't afford to do that. You got to cut the milkers, guys. We've talked about that a lot before. There's a lot of ACC milkers, and so you got to cut the milkers out if you want more money.
Northern Illinois is 1-0 all time versus Notre Dame. Thank you for that very important statistic, Becky. Go Huskies. And we salute the Northern Illinois Huskies for that. ACC Pac is their best chance to regain Power 4 status. No.
Nope.
Those days are gone. It's Power 3.
Yeah.
Boy, Stu Austin's really looking to pick a fight tonight. I can't even stomach watching Big 12 football. Definitely going to waste time watching the MAC. Well, now, Steele, you've made 2 enemies tonight.
So Steele, you won't even watch your Ute football? They're in the Big 12, so you can't watch them now.
This is why we didn't let Utah in, Steele. MBM.
Wait, are you talking about the Big Ten here, Moen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was that the swing factor right there?
Yeah. I said, they called me and I said, listen, there's this little jerk named Steele Austin who's going to insult the MAC. And because of that, we can't have Utah in. Can't have
I prefer to go by the Little Buckeyes. I like this Little Buckeyes moniker here.
MBM says, my Pokes have a winning record against Notre Dame as well. Mafia Bomber. Congratulations, as do my Ohio State Buckeyes. They kicked the shit out of them in the national championship game. It was glorious. The last time Notre Dame beat Ohio State, Franklin Delano Roosevelt was president.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Rebuilt Pac-12 is a sham fabricated by OSU Washington State, who intended to deconstruct Pac if OSU WSU could realign with the Big 12.
I think the Pac-12 is maybe that was the original thought, to try to get leverage to jump over to the Big 12. I think that's like the core idea here, Steve. But that's just not a solution really for Oregon State and Wazoo. They're not going to be able to get into the Big 12. So it's full reconstruction time, and it's full realignment, Darwinism, and going after the Mountain West.
Jose says, Mafia Utes O-Face, Mafia Utters suck. Let me see. Let's get some utters on fire in here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's quite pleasant, actually. It's like a gentle tug. Okay, slightly less gentle now. Oh! My udders are on fire!
Pac will merge with the Mountain West. Okay,
Maybe.
That's going to be a 20-team G5 we're going to have on the West Coast. All because Pac-12 had to look over UNLV.
15 right now.
The Pac-12 invited UNLV, Moen.
Yeah, after they whiffed on Memphis, Tulane, and USF.
And they got
if
their
they'd
payday.
have invited them along with Boise State, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Well, there's a pecking order. As you know very well, there's a pecking order.
Cougars in Southern California are aggressive. They don't take no for an answer. Mafia Utes, O-Face. Max Herbig. Hear me out here. Pac adding Texas State, North Texas, and UTSA, along with University of Texas Arlington, as a non-football member.
You have me up to UT Arlington. They don't need another non-football member.
Man, adding UTSA and Texas State, North Texas would be a phenomenal play.
Almighty Finn was just glad Wild you didn't put Florida State in the Pac-12. No, you is a big believer in Florida State to the Big Ten.
You know, I am the one who coined Florida State the crown jewel of realignment, and I will stand by that comment. The Big Ten seems not to see the same thing as Wild U does with Florida State and the Big Ten. To me, it's gold. Just streets of gold, national championships for Florida State, recruiting wins, domination over the Florida Gators. For the Big Ten, it's national championship glory over the SEC. But the Big Ten apparently is feeling a little too snooty about that, and so they don't want to take the win on this. So the crown jewel of realignment, that is Florida State and the Big Ten. It is not Florida State and the SEC, unfortunately.
I will have a short video coming up explaining how that is determined and who is the king of college football over the last 25 years. Conundrum says Florida State and Clemson to the Big 12 with unequal revenue sharing.
That's what the Big 12 needs to do, unequal revenue sharing. Unequal revenue sharing for the Big 12.
FSU and Clemson didn't spend all that money in billable hours just to go to the Big 12. They want Big 10 or SEC only. There's no amount of money that the Big 12 can give FSU or Clemson to go.
James Davis says Utah to the ACC. There you go. You can backfill in the ACC. There you.
Check out the video on that one. Put a video out about 6 months ago. Got to curb that one quick. Utah's not going anywhere until a better opportunity emerges. Like seriously, that's it.
Rest easy, Big 12. Rest easy, because a better opportunity ain't coming. In a free-for-all during a realignment mosh pit, who would survive between the Big 12 and the ACC? This is a great question, John. Is the ACC still have Florida State and Clemson? If the answer is yes, it's ACC, hands down.
But if they're gone, then it's a free. Then everybody's in the ACC's run for the exit.
Yeah, it's who's left in the ACC. If we're taking the ACC as it's constituted right now versus the Big 12 as it's constituted right now, who are you picking, you?
It's kind of a strange question, too. Interesting. But it's like the ACC has Florida State and Clemson as the right and left fists that are punching itself in the face, right? Because they're not supportive. Like they're trying to fight against its own body right now. So there's even more of a lack of alignment in the ACC. So it's like getting attacked within. And so I would have to say the Big 12. I mean, I give Utah squawks at Big 12 and stuff. There's more alignment across the board in Big 12 than the ACC. So the Big 12 is going to win this. Self-destruction by ACC.
Okay, but to ask the question again, as they are constituted right now with the teams they have, ACC versus Big 12, who wins?
Big 12.
Okay. Daniel, who wins?
ACC just because they got FSU and Clemson.
Daniel's right. The ACC has Florida State and Clemson, and they have Notre Dame as a sometimes partner. So just got a little more weight to them right now.
Yeah, but they're punching itself in the face. Like that big, the Seminole spear is just smashing itself in the head. Like, how can that, if you're not united, then you've got nothing. And that's what the ACC is. I don't care who your brands are and stuff. They don't want to be in there and they're trying to get out. And you're nothing. You're easily defeatable.
CFB Plus says, I have not seen as much hatred for a conference as Utah fans towards the Big 12.
Well, it all starts back to the Pac-12, Big 12 battle of 2023, 2022, right? That's like the genesis of this. Of course, we know Utah had the Pac-12 successes. They didn't want to leave for a lot of reasons. And it actually stems back even earlier, too, when the Pac-12 passed on adding Big 12 schools. Remember when USC was still in the conference? So there was a mentality set at that time when they said they wouldn't expand with any Big 12 schools that was established in a lot of the minds of the Pac-12 at the time, Ute fans, etc. And then the Pac-12 battle happened. There was wars between Utah and Big 12 fans, and that just hasn't healed.
Okay, this is hot off the press from CFB Plus. This is hypothetical pack. Yeah, I know that's a tough graphic to work with that ACC at a semi-italicized, but here's what he had in mind. Take this off the screen here real quick. Oh, we can take a look at it. They would have Boston College, UConn, Syracuse, Pitt, Wake Forest, Duke, USF, Tulane, Memphis, SMU, Texas State, Colorado State, Utah State, Boise State, Washington State, Gonzaga, Oregon State, Stanford, Cal, Fresno State, San Diego State.
Wow, what a mess.
How much money do you think this would be worth for a media rights company?
10?
Not much.
Yeah, 10 million per year per school.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't even think that.
It's-
Maybe 9.
Here's the thing. There's going to be some schools that are just not going to take part in this. Duke is not going to take part in that.
Right.
Duke would not be a part of this conference. They would join the Ivy League over that.
Yeah,
Stanford,
Stanford too.
Stanford would go independent in football and join probably like the West Coast Conference or Big West, something like that.
Pitt would be another one that you're going to have a hard time getting into that conference.
BC as well.
BC, you can probably get in because they're Boston College. Nobody wants them anyway. So, but interesting concept, CFB Plus. Interesting concept.
Mm-hmm.
We will put it up there. We'll let everybody debate that. If you like this idea, leave it in the comment section, and CFB Plus will take a look at it and get back to you. All right, guys, we're welcoming in now to the stage
Hey.
Becky Go Huskies.
Hey
on
guys.
Saturday night to talk Pac-12, Pac-8, Pac-X, backpack, whatever you want to call it. How are you doing tonight, Becky?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well.
I mean, we've gotten a lot of milk suckers tonight already.
Never add milk suckers, guys. That's the number one rule in realignment.
Well, we're about to add a milk sucker.
Well, Becky,
Becky, what's the latest here? Becky is the our Pac-12 expert.
So
And
here's
so-
what I know. So Texas State still getting talked to. There's 2 other schools that are getting talks. It's Texas State, Rice, and New Mexico State.
No way.
Mexico
Okay.
State's in Conference USA. Because New Mexico is going to the mountain, is already in the Mountain West or with UTEP or something like that. But the thing is they're not, the 8th member will not get a full share. And let me explain why. They are not going to get a full share because Washington State and Oregon State have to pay $20.5 million, or whatever that settlement ends up being. They have to do it. They have no choice. They are part of the lawsuit because they were in the Pac-12 when it happened. So the Pac-12 agreed to do it. Oregon State and Washington State have no choice. They have to do it. So whoever comes in is going to get a lower share than that full share unless their name is Tulane or Memphis. And what I do know is that they are not even going to attempt Tulane. They have attempted to go back to Memphis and only Memphis. Because they're going to add the 8th member and then they're going to add others later.
Right.
That's the whole plan. And the reason why it's taken so long is because that 8th member has to take the lower amount. They have to. Like, it's still more than what they were getting, and it's expected to be, but it will be between 1/4 and 1/2 share. And Sacramento State, let me say this, people keep saying Sacramento State. Sacramento State essentially got told, you need to upgrade your facilities and you need to have funding secured for those facilities to be upgraded. So
Sacramento State has a 1,000-seat basketball arena. It looks like a high school gym.
Yeah.
No way.
there are
Yeah.
high school stadiums better than the football stadium that Sac State plays
Yeah.
in. And I mean, I think it was at Sleep Train Arena, the
Old
owners
Arco
of
Arena.
the Kings, Arco, yeah.
Yeah.
The owner of the Kings said they could play there for free while their basketball arena is being built, like redone. But they have to upgrade every single piece of facilities. It's way more than $250 million. We're talking $500 million.
And there was talk about using student fees for it, and the students just said, no way, no how, I mean, the whole entire CSU system has a whole about, what was it, $375 million for the whole system. So going to them to ask for money, it's not going to happen. And who in Sacramento is going to hand out that money? No one.
No. And like Daniel said earlier, the California state system, just like the city system, they don't have any money. They just don't have it. Like everything's going toward education. So like Cal and UCLA, UC Davis, et cetera, they have to get smart when they want their facilities and stuff done. So they're being very calculating about it. And I believe, Berkeley owes a ton of money on their stadium remodel still, like
$400 million.
Yeah. So, and I don't know if they've even started paying on it, like deferred anything. I have no idea. Like I haven't looked into that.
It is, if they defer everything that is on those bonds, they're paying interest, but until they pay, but paying principal, it will be all the way till 21-13.
Yeah.
If they do the bonds all the way out the way that they have it set up.
It is so insane. And Berkeley won't wipe the debt from their endowment, which they could do. Like that.
Yeah, nobody's going into their endowment, though, to pay athletic department debt. It hasn't happened.
Washington's about to do it, probably. It's being discussed.
No way. Wow.
Yes, it's been discussed. They're going to wipe out the $200 million in stadium debt, which also includes a baseball stadium, which people don't realize, because we built a brand new baseball stadium, too. Because they're getting ready to gear up to build a new softball stadium. So
Stanford did.
Yeah, Stanford's done
for their football stadium. That it was like $350 million, and they just pulled it out of the kitty.
I mean, you're talking about schools with like $6-7 billion ready to go at any given moment. But like you guys were discussing UNLV earlier. UNLV is not in the discussion unless the Pac-12 can pay them $60 million, because that's what the Mountain West promised them. That's what the Mountain West promised.
That's coming from the Pac-12 in lawsuit related.
And they have a paper that they signed that the Mountain West is just holding them accountable to. Why do you think they're doing the Pac-12's trying to negotiate that down?
Right.
Because it's like X amount per school. And it's an insane dollar amount. Like I don't know what the Pac-12 was doing when they agreed to sign some document saying you're going to pay this much per school that you take. It is just not happening. Like the Mountain West, UNLV is going to be the flagship program for the Mountain West. Now, the issue with the Mountain West has is Air Force, because the Department of Defense or President Trump could today tell them you have to join the AAC. He can do it. And there's nothing they can do because they'd be ordered to do it, right? So that would be the only thing that could probably break it completely down.
Why would that be?
To have all the academies.
Yeah, the commander-in-chief could order it, could make it like it has to happen. And
but they played that as a non-conference for
exactly and
forever, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to them. So that would be the only thing that could really ruin the Mountain West deal. But Air Force stayed and didn't go to the AAC because they were promised something like $30 or $40 million. So the Mountain West made these huge promises because of how much money they're going to get. And by getting that money, I mean, what would you do? You're never going to see that much money in the next 10 to 15 years. We're going to take it.
I understand that. If it materializes, we'll see.
Yeah, whether it materializes or not, the Mountain West is on the hook to pay them. They have basically a memorandum of understanding. So it's only an MOU as far as I know. But the Pac-12 with them is, that was an actual deal. They signed some stupid deal. But again,
so the biggest hang up you're saying is the fee money that they're owing, likely the litigation costs, legal fees to the Mountain West is causing them it's putting them in a position they can't pay 100% distribution to a new ad. That's exactly what you're saying, correct?
Essentially. Also,
yeah.
well, not really that. It's essentially the fact that Washington State and Oregon State, they're going to get unequal revenue share. They are. Because of the $20.5 million, they have to pay that. They are stuck. So that's why the 18, because all that money is going to go to them. So if it's and it's easy math. So if it's $8 million a year, okay, the new school, Texas State, gets added. It's $8 million a year. Texas State's going to get $2 million. That other $6 million will be divided in half and given to Washington State and Oregon State. And now they're making $11 million a year. So it offsets that 20.5 because they have to have it. And it's so bad. Yeah. It's so bad that
this is a mess.
It's a mess. And it's not like Washington State or Oregon State's fault. It was a 10-2 vote on this. It was a 10-2 vote. You can guess the two outliers. Because they were like, no. And the rest were like, yeah, now they're stuck.
Okay, let's talk about Texas State then. Okay, so we've got a $2 million offer, essentially. That's like 25%, maybe 50%. Like, they've already squawked at that, publicly.
Their president did.
Their president did. So
what
dollar amount? Yeah, what dollar amount does it take to get the Bobcats in the Pac-12?
I'm assuming it's going to be, they got to go up to 50 or maybe more, maybe 60. Yeah. It won't be, I don't think it'll be a 75 because I think the Pac is like, we can add a Rice, who's a private school, who has more money than you anyway, and they'd probably be okay with taking 60 because, they're Rice. But yeah, as far as like a dollar amount goes, I don't have that percentage, but it's not, they're not going to do, they're never going to take like less than probably 50. And like, that's what I've heard. Texas State is like firm on that. And the Pac's like, we might be able to bring in somebody else for less. I mean, they didn't even talk to North Texas. Literally have never talked to North Texas. That's never even happened. So the Pac-12 is just playing it right. And, people are like, oh, they have to hurry. Yes, the Pac-12 knows they have to hurry, but they only have to have the 8th member. They don't need 9, 10, or whatever. They just need 8. Once they have 8, it'll all settle and they can move on. And
what about New Mexico State? Yeah, you spoke to New Mexico State. Yeah. Is there any type of real traction on that? I mean, that seems like a suicidal ad for Pac-12.
They are the last resort. As far as I know, they will be the last resort. Sacramento State's so far off the last resort that it's just like it would take every single school to say no. And I'm talking like a UConn would have to say no. like that's how deep it gets with Sac State. Like they are school 133. Like I'm not joking. Like it is bad. Like they're going to have to go independent, get their stuff fixed for a few years. Washington State essentially told them we will not play in that football stadium ever unless it's fixed. Oregon State told them the same thing. We're not playing in your stadium unless you get it fixed. And they have every reason because the stadium sucks. So I don't mean to bash on Sac State. Yeah, they don't have any money. They're broke. I don't mean to bash on Sac State. I think they have a great market, but from what I've heard, USC, UCLA, Stanford, and Cal all own that market, and even Fresno State owns that market before Sacramento State. Like
Fresno's huge in Sacramento. Fresno's huge in Sacramento.
Huge, which is like crazy to me. So I think, my notepad, sorry. Never getting over that. So they're going to do their thing, and the Pac-12 is going to add whomever. They are under no, and I'll say this, not because San Diego State's athletic director ran his mouth, everybody doesn't get to talk anymore. So like she's keeping this very close. So, I mean, there's people clearly mad because LV is not the choice. But UNLV got promised big money, guys. Like I don't make the rules here. I don't make this up. Like UNLV got the money they got, and that's that. Like,
Well, they haven't got anything yet. They're expecting to get the money.
yeah, if that falls
Legally.
apart, I will tell you this right now. If that all fell apart today, UNLV would be the choice tomorrow. Boom. Like you wouldn't even like. There's no hesitation. They'd be like in, and then they could focus on like adding other members at half shares, and they'd have to suck it up and take a half share because they have a media deal. And
So how do you see it playing out right now? Like, so we're talking New Mexico State, Texas State, Rice, North Texas, and then, UNLV's far away because of the litigation.
and
Like,
and Memphis is in that discussion a little bit too again.
Memphis.
And it's mostly because Memphis like has to just get their boosters to suck it up and pay for something. That's why they balked. They balked because they didn't want to pay the travel. Something like $2-3 million a year in travel, and they did not want. They would have to pay for that. But UNLV coming in, and like if UNLV wanted to come in tomorrow, they could come in. But they're distant, and there's still a little chit chat here and there. But it's essentially like you said, it has to fall apart for the Mountain West. And if it does, then they get to sue the Mountain West. So they're going to get a ton of money out of the Mountain West. Like UNLV stands to get paid regardless. But essentially what happened was like Utah got picked after UNLV came up, after they came back to UNLV, and they said, hey, we'll add you. And because, bring you in. And they were like, okay, we like that. But the Mountain West has already offered us this much to stay. Can you counter that? And they're like, God, no, we're broke. So I'm just
Would
amazed.
UNLV have a Wolfpack backpack problem?
I've not heard it's a Wolfpack backpack problem.
Okay.
I've not heard that, but it would not surprise me if they randomly did. But if the Mountain West were to collapse, I mean, they would just bring Nevada. Just be like, Nevada would just come along. So it'd be UNLV and Nevada anyway.
Yeah.
Probably Wyoming, and then clearly Air Force if they didn't go to the AAC. So it's like a lot of things at play. But I mean, like, to sum this up, the Pac-12 is already talking about their 2026. They have some teams in mind. They're getting dollars. They're going to hash that portion out. They needed to get 2025 settled. And from what I do know, like I said, it's probably still going to be the same three unless somebody comes in. I've heard Fox may come in and like offer maybe a small package, but it sounds like it's just going to be the three we saw: CW, CBS, and ESPN. ESPN's huge on it because Fox has the Mountain West, and we'll probably continue to have the Mountain West. So for ESPN, it's like we have the better brands. And I don't think CBS is going to show a Pac-12 game on like their local CBS station, but maybe once in a while. And I don't know. I asked about it. I didn't get much information about. Yeah, like everything's coming together that they want. But as far as media deals, CW is that's their big like linear person.
CW is getting $1 million per game per race with the Busch series. They are.
Yeah.
I mean, numbers on that were always kind of meh, but they're actually getting really good numbers. And CW,
didn't they have Live Golf?
They got no ratings on that. But the CW said that they wanted to go all in with sports because they can, especially something that they can license cheap. Like the second series of NASCAR, they picked that up for next to nothing. They're getting $1 million per race.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
All right. We got a super chat here from Stormy Cyclone. He says, keep up the good work, guys. You too, Moped Becky. I don't know if you guys heard the news today. Grand Theft Auto 6 has been delayed It was originally
Again.
supposed to come out this fall. It's been delayed to May of 2026. Rumor has it is they are adding moped Becky missions into the game, and that is why it's been delayed till May. So make sure you have an Xbox or PlayStation ready for May next year, guys. Then you can play the moped Becky missions.
Are
in
they going
Grand
to have a
Theft
map
Auto
of?
6.
Are they going to have a map of Pullman?
I don't know. I don't know what it entails. I just know that the GTA people are big fans of our show. They heard the Becky Go moped story, and they've added it into the game. So definitely something you should check out. It's free. It's not paid for DLC. It comes with the standard game. Definitely check it out. Thank you for the super chat, Stormy Cyclone. It is much appreciated, sir. I will give
You'll
you a
never
little
live
drunk
it
Joe
down,
Namath.
I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
I imagine that's what Becky was like when she stole that moped.
Just a little drunker.
You'll never live it down, ever.
No, that's fine. It's a good story. It's fun.
Yeah,
I like that one. That one's fun.
New Mexico State, that is the utter worst case scenario.
It's so far away from New Mexico State. Like, I don't even think they're in the. I think that's just like a school that they were like, "Hey, what's up?"
Rice is perfect with lamb chops.
yes, it is.
Funnily enough, though, I think Rice has a really nice football stadium.
They don't.
It holds a lot of people, though, doesn't it?
It does. It holds a lot.
But it really needs a wrecking ball taken to it.
Yeah. It's still better than whatever Sacramento State has.
Sacramento State's a glorified high school stadium. It's not that.
I don't even know if it's a glorified high school stadium, like middle school.
Well, it does say 18,000.
There's the high school stadium. The stadium that the high schools use here in Seattle, Memorial Stadium, holds like 18,000.
Yeah,
it's getting a remodel.
Rice plants the Pac-12 flag in Texas.
Do it. Get that done.
The longer this goes, the more likely Pac-X pays a full share to whoever is left. Texas State may be off the table by then.
Where are they going to go? Like where? The American.
Sunbelt has their deal. Like, I don't know what Sunbelt gets a year. You guys keep saying $1 million, but
it's about 2. It's not that. Yeah. It's not a lot.
I mean, like, in order to leave, they've got to get more than 2. So,
media deal highest in the G5, best facilities, best carriers via ESPN, Fox, and CW, and most gravitas name recognition schools.
I don't know where he's getting Fox. Fox isn't even CBS, ESPN, and CW. When did that announced?
Well, that was the 2026. The
2025.
We don't know what their new.
We don't know the new one is. Yeah, Fox.
We don't know what the new one is.
Fox might slide in. I keep hearing, like I told you guys, I keep hearing Fox, but like they were out because they wanted the Mountain West, and then they kind of snuck back in. But CBS seems to be the watch. CBS will be like, yeah, we're gonna put like one national televised game a year, and it'll be Washington State or Oregon State or Washington State at Oregon State. Who play each other twice next year. By the way, because they couldn't find an opponent.
All right, Becky, we got a question for you here. Do you think Stanford will rescue Cal again should the time come?
No. So, like, if it were to say like a Big Ten invite or SEC invite, let's say no, they're on their own. They are on their own. Like,
what does Cal do? Let's talk about Cal for a second, Becky. Like, if you're Cal Berkeley, like, what's the best case scenario for you?
I mean, the best case scenario is that, like, would they, the question's up there, would they ever join the Big 12? No. Like, there's no research there. Like, there's nothing to cooperate there. Like, Cal has to have a student that can like, the whole point of this is so that they can get students to intertransfer, right? So, like, the past Pac-12 was easy because you had UCLA and Washington, Stanford, USC, good, even like Arizona State's a great school. Like Utah came in and they were a good school. Like Colorado's a great school. Like you could just mix them in and get, graduate transfers. That's the whole purpose of this, is you want the best you can get. And Cal is one of those schools because they do so much research and they do so much like thinking, and they want those lawyers and they want all this. And Big 12, I don't even know if they could qualify. The same thing with Stanford. Could a student in the Big 12 qualify at Stanford? Maybe, but not as many as you would think. And Cal's got the same exact standards for their students. I mean,
I want to say Stanford only accepts, it's like 4.5% or something like that of all applicants, and Berkeley it's around 9%. It's something like, they have the lowest.
I think there might be the lowest
acceptance
public university. It might be Cal.
in America. Yes.
Yeah. It's like even UCLA accepts like 50% or some crazy.
No,
number.
UCLA is like
They're not
15.
It's 15, yeah. So like
Yeah.
UCLA is, but I mean, like in the University of California system, you can go to, wherever. That's just as quality a school and transfer to those too. And that's what people do. Treat them like a JUCO.
Yes.
Washington out here, it's like 90-something% acceptance, but only like 12% graduate.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
That's the thing with the UC schools, is they have a high graduation rate because the cutoff to get into them are insanely high. Heck, Santa Barbara is like 30%. My daughter's going to go to Davis next year, and that was like somewhere around 30%. So they have a high standard to get in. That's the reason why their graduation rates are so high.
What's the population of California? Like 30-something million, 50 million?
39 million and change. I don't know the exact number.
They're like France,
Yeah.
The same population as France. So like they can be a little bit more than other places, but yeah, Cal, they're not safe. They're on their own. Like, I don't even know what they're going to do if the ACC collapsed and Stanford's like in the Big Ten or something like that. Just
rough.
Got a super chat here from Ryan Willie. Is the Pac going to beat the sand in the hourglass?
Yeah, I think they have to have member number 8 by August. So yeah. I think I don't know what the rules are on that. I'd have to check. Yeah, they'll just invite Wisconsin.
I think they're going to have to get Mr. Right now, because they're not going to find Mr. Right.
They're not. They're just going to have to get Mr. Right now.
Mr. Right's Memphis. Mr. Right's Memphis.
Memphis would have been great had they just sucked it up and paid the extra X million dollars, but they didn't want to do that. And I mean, I don't blame them. But I think they would have gotten 20-something million a year had those 4 come, because it would have been a very good conference.
Thank you for the super chat, Ryan. It is much appreciated. Here's some Badger noises. Make you feel at home.
That's the best sounder, Moan. That's the best of all the sounders. That's amazing.
John Nelson says New Mexico State probably would not say no.
Oh, gosh, they'd say yes in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Washington has 42% acceptance rate.
Okay.
But it's like 22% on the they have like 68,000 students apply or something like that every year, and they're not going to accept 90, but it's an insane thing that Cal's at 4.
Mm-hmm.
And Washington, I don't know if Cal does this, but Washington does not use the SAT or ACT anymore to let students in.
The CSU and UC system does not here.
Yeah. I don't know about Washington State. Washington State's a party school, so people go there and get drunk.
Tarleton State to Conference USA. I don't even know where Tarleton State is.
Texas.
Okay. So
what's the mascot for Tarleton State? Do you know that, Daniel?
I don't know.
Aren't they don't they wear purple?
Yes,
they do wear purple. I just don't know their mascot.
Their mascot's probably a cigarette or a pack of cigarettes. Tarleton.
No, that would be in North Carolina.
A pack of cigarettes.
But Tarleton State, that's not Tarleton sounds
Oh
like
yeah, it's just
a
a
cigarette
purple
brand.
T, like with the outline of Texas is their logo.
Yes.
Let's see. Their mascot. Oh, it's a guy on a horse. It's the
Okay.
Texan Rider.
Okay.
I guess they're the Texan Riders. I have no idea.
And he's smoking a cigarette.
Google search.
So how much does the MWC pay out now? It can't be more than $3 million per year with the losses they have suffered.
I think that's what they said. I think like Canzano or Wilner actually reported $3 million. It's what they were offered, 3.5. It's really it's less than half of what the Pac-12 would get. So
Rice is the number 18 in academics of all U.S. universities. That's according to the U.S. News and World Report. Yeah, Rice has good
was
academics.
considered a Pac-12 candidate when USC was in the conference still. There was loose talk about SMU and Rice and Houston being strong Pac-12 candidates. So this isn't anything new.
no,
Yeah, but the Pac-12 now is looking at, we need somebody that can up this media market value.
yeah. So what I know about like Rice is that they would be an ad because they'd want to bring back Cal and Stanford if the ACC were to die. That's the only reason That's the only reason why I've heard like they would even consider them, because they're not a TV ad. Like they don't have viewers. You ran the numbers, they don't have viewers.
Yeah, they don't bring. I mean, you bring games in the Central Time Zone.
100% from what I was told is just to entice those two back if they ever needed to come back. That's it.
Interesting.
If the Big had Notre Dame, Stanford, Duke, Miami, and then wanted a pair of Texas schools, then TCU and Rice would be on the table. Rice has the academics and TCU has the athletics, both in top 10 media markets. We crunched the numbers on last month's members-only stream. It's too far for TCU. It's too far.
It would probably be what I mean, if they were to add Texas schools, they couldn't say add A&M or Texas, then it'd probably be what TCU and Texas Tech before anybody else. I don't see them adding Baylor.
I don't see them adding anybody other than Texas or Texas A&M.
Yeah, same. I'm just saying, like, if they absolutely wanted a Texas school and they were hell bent on a Texas school and they got no from the two big dogs, I would have to feel like it would be Texas Christian and Texas Tech that would be top. And I don't even know if TCU calls themselves Texas Christian anymore. I think they're just TCU.
Just TCU, yeah.
Somebody on GTA 6 on a moped slashed my tires. Well,
you're welcome.
Imagine a husky doing that to a duck.
Which
I can't believe
they're doing the spring game tonight, and there were Duck fans posted outside tailgating at like near Husky Stadium today.
Really?
Duck fans, yeah.
Are you going to be that mean to Puddles there, Becky? Look at Puddles. He's cute.
The duck doesn't have a name. The duck can't have a name because duck can't have a name because Disney would sue the crap out of him.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they're paying. They have to pay Disney for this.
You know, Jeremiah Smith just scored another touchdown on Oregon. I'm just saying.
Oh no! You'll like this, Mom. Somebody posted a T-shirt with a duck with like X's for eyes, and it said Ohio State led 34-0 in the second quarter.
Yes.
Somebody put that on a T-shirt, and a Husky fan saw it and was like, and of course the common thing was, how is 3XL not sold out already from Ohioans?
We are a fat people. We're fat, but we're drought proof.
Moen, you got to get in the comments. I mean, some of these Tarleton State cigarette comments are so good.
Any update on your Mark's plans to bring in the Mexico City market? Talk about playing 4D chess. Have not heard anything yet.
No.
That deal kind of, I wouldn't say died, but it kind of
Rice Stadium hosted a Super Bowl.
They did.
Super Bowl 4, I believe.
Yeah, was it after the Namath game?
Super Bowl 3 was the Namath game. That was in Miami.
Yeah, that was in Miami. Okay, yeah. So I was like, I'm like, what year did New Orleans host first, because that's when Unitas won his Super Bowl.
That would have been. Oh,
So remember that was the really cold one.
yeah.
I don't remember. But yeah, it had to be one of the first 5 or 6.
Is there anybody from Baltimore in here that knows that year?
Rice has a historic stadium. It's also where JFK gave the moon landing speech. Rice has the money to pour, but maybe not the desire.
Well, I mean, they could go into a conference with Central Florida and own the space industry.
Rice announced and met a $1 billion athletic initiative within a month's time a few years back. Maybe they poured it into facilities.
Well, they didn't pour it into that football stadium. I mean, we know that. Which, by the way, is like a bowl. It's like an old school bowl. Like, I think it's built down.
Cal forgot rule number 5.
Moan, remind.
It's up in the chat. Just go back. UNLV will get that money promised by. Will not get that money promised by the Mountain West.
Yeah, there's no chance.
There's no chance. I mean, at some point, they just got to suck it up and go, screw it. We'll just, because it's only an MOU. Just, hey.
The Mountain West is going to get so screwed.
I'm like, I wish I knew somebody at UNLV so I could get like a vaccine thing, because they're probably just like, this is stupid.
BYU has student athletes that can go to Stanford.
Not saying that they don't.
I'm not saying that they don't. Stanford lowered their standards for transfers after they've been at another school. They did lower their standards last year, I want to say.
Sounds about right. Something like that.
It was pretty close. It was recent. Like, they were like, oh yeah, you can transfer from anywhere now. We're going to lower our standards. But you still have to qualify as a student to get in, like as a freshman.
Yes.
The Pac-12 has once again botched realignment.
I don't think they did. I think there's a lot of factors here that they didn't like.
I prefer the term Munson. They have Munson realignment.
Yeah. I mean, but when you get told no because boosters are telling you no, what are you going to do?
Tarleton mascot, the Black Eyes. Sounds like cigarettes to me. Tarleton menthol Slims. They wouldn't be menthol. The ladies team would be menthol. The ladies team would be menthol. Just spit up my beer, LMAO, pack of cigarettes. Mascot, they sound like cigarettes to me.
What's going on in Utah?
Yeah, you would go
getting
out.
the Title IX issue.
Southern Utah.
You go into a gas station, say, give me a 4 Loco, a $6 on pump 8, and a pack of Tarletons.
Mo, is like is it the logo that looks like a cigarette container, or is it just the sound of Tarleton?
Just Tarleton. Sound like a cigarette. Sound like a hard cigarette too. It's like, it's not a good cigarette. It's a Tarleton. It has to be like, can I bum a cigarette off of you? Yeah, I got a Tarleton. Never mind. Tarleton State is an Aggie school in Stephenville, Texas. Stephenville High School is where Art Briles won multiple state titles, leading him to the college world. Tarleton is about 1.5 southwest of Fort Worth. A&M and Texas aren't leaving the SEC. I agree with you. They're not.
Yeah, they're not.
TCU is a small school. That they are. I think it's about 10,000. Anyone who thinks A&M is leaving the SEC is someone unfamiliar with their culture and donor base.
I don't know where that even came from.
It was rumored. It's been a rumor that's been floating around since Texas joined the SEC that A&M wanted out.
All because they hate Texas that much?
Yes.
It's the message boards. That's where it's.
You know what? If Utah joins the Big Ten, Washington's leaving because we don't like. No, wait. We want Utah because we beat them.
Come on, Becky. Come on.
We beat you guys in the most absurd ways. Sorry, my dog is excited. Even the dogs chimed in. See?
Yeah. Vox Quindaro says LSMFT. I know what that means. You know what that means?
No.
Lucky strike means fine tobacco, or as we used to say in college, let's screw my fingers tired. Tarleton State will walk a mile all over our opponent.
Oh my God, really? Good Lord. I need to get caught up on my like smoking lingo.
This doesn't look Tarleton State. Does it look like a cigarette?
Not quite.
Nowhere near.
It looks like a highway cigarette, like if it was a pack of highway cigarettes.
I'll be honest with you. It looks like one of the T's from Texas Tech, and then they just put an outline of Texas behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like you would go into a gas station on a highway and say, "What's your cheapest cigarette?" And they'd say, "It's a Tarleton." We carry Tarletons.
They're the off-brand cigarette.
Tarleton State jersey has a Surgeon General warning patch on their jerseys.
Poor Tarleton State.
To be up a creek without a paddle, to have the world at your feet and blow it. You know, Munson. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we have Munson on here. Where's my Munson? Here we go, Munson.
It's a tough world. These kids nearly got Munson, but they're back now.
Kids nearly got Munson. Softball, Northwestern 7, UCLA 0. Bottom of the fifth. Go Wildcats. Thank you for the super chat, Ryan Willie. I'll give you a little winner sound effect.
Winner.
Yep, we have no filter here on the Big Freaking Friday show, that's for sure.
Tarleton State apparently doesn't have one.
If you're buying a pack of Tarletons, you know you're get a cup of scratch-offs too. Oh, hell yeah.
I like how you spelled cuppa. Like cuppa.
You need a cup of scratch-offs too.
How did you come up with this Tarleton thing?
I'm just like, I can hear a Texan saying cuppa. I want to get.
I can hear that at a truck stop in Ohio.
Like, I
what do you
want to
got?
get a cup of scratch-offs.
We don't call them scratch-offs. We call them scratchers. We got in scratchers. You got a $20 scratcher back there? Let me have one of them. Tarleton Chew. Somehow it tastes better than the one without a ton of tar.
God, these are just getting great.
Thought Moen said LSD PCP. Never. I would never take PCP. CFB. This Tarleton State smack is hysterical. May God bless Big Ern McCracken. Absolutely.
There you go.
Pulled out way early on that one. The Tarleton Tokers.
That'll work.
First cigarette I ever smoked was a Terryton. I was
No
maybe
way.
10.
No. That's probably, if this is true, that's probably where you got the Tarleton.
No, Tarleton just sounds like a cigarette.
It just sounds like it. It does.
Here's the thing. What is that? Wake Forest University. They used to be in the town of Wake Forest, North Carolina. They moved to Winston-Salem because the Winston cigarette family wanted the university there in town and paid for their move in 1950.
Holy smokes.
That's right. Holy smokes.
Yep.
This is too funny. But you would LSD. No comment. You think, Wild You? I don't know what he's saying. You think too, but yeah, we're talking Tarletons. We're talking it all. Cigarettes. Let's wrap it up there. I think we'll wrap it up for the evening. It's been a big freaking Friday show. We've been joined by Wild You. We've had our special guest Daniel Gygax. Becky Go Huskies coming in to give us the latest and greatest on Pac-12. She knows people who know people, and she tells us what those people know, and we appreciate that, Becky. Let's see. Who wants to start? All right, Becky, we'll start with you. What do you want to say before you head out tonight?
I'll just say, you know what? Washington's playing their spring game tonight. Big Ten owns a boat.
No.
Big Ten owns a boat. It's out there on the water.
Like a sailgate boat?
I guess, yeah, people are sailgating on that boat, which might be about 40,000 people in the stadium tonight, which is pretty good for a 70-degree day in Seattle in May. So yeah.
Oh, we got a late super chat coming in here. Ryan Willie, if everything stays as scheduled, Utah won't be embarrassed at home until 2033 by Wisconsin.
They should be playing Wisconsin this year. They might beat them.
That's right. Don't
It'd be like
underestimate
3-0, but they have no.
And we've got a new quarterback at the helm here. Give him a Badger sound at least to finish this off.
Well, we gave him a Badger sound earlier. Let's let him cook.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
And we've got another late super chat here. Thank you for the super chat, Ryan Willie.
Thank
Much
you, Ryan.
appreciated, sir. I will be getting a hold of you if I'm heading up to Madison this year. Great show. Get well, Bomber. $20 super chat from MBM. He made it rain. Let's give him a little cash falling right there. Some legitness.
That was legitness. Yeah, it was.
Absolutely was. And let's give him a little. Let me see what we got here. We got Cartman. I don't make the rules.
I don't make the rules, ma'am. I just think them up and write them down.
Give him a Tarleton, too.
Man, you hear me?
You are a bad man, MBM. You hear that? You're a bad, bad man. We know what you were saying.
You know what I am saying?
All right. Thank you for the super chat, MBM. Daniel, what would you like to say before we take off this evening?
17 weekends to go before WVU plays football.
Woo!
Absolutely.
Are they playing Penn State that weekend?
No. That Robert Morris.
Oh, so they win.
Yeah, they play Penn State.
Robert Morris, the other cigarette smoking.
Tarleton.
Robert Morris and Tarleton State. We ought to get a conference of nothing but smokers.
We call it Tobacco Road for real.
There you go. All right. What do you got to say?
For Pac-12 expansion, Texas State is the play. It makes the most sense, but you can't give up the farm. You can't give 100% distribution. Becky spoke to it. You got to figure out how to get there with Texas State for 50 to 60%, maybe 75%. Get it done. That's the member to add. Get to 8. UNLV will come later. But really, you got to nail this down with Texas State. But you got to negotiate hard. 60%. I like it. Maybe 62.5%.
UNLV could suck it up right now and just join. They only have a memorandum of understanding. I'm dead serious. Like, they didn't sign anything. So, like, the ball's in their court. They could join tomorrow if they want.
Absolutely. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here on the Big Freaking Friday show, the post-May Day Big Freaking Friday show. Give you a scheduling reminder. This Sunday, you can join myself and Rock and Rant for another thrilling episode of Mowing After Dark. Then on Thursday of next week, we have a members-only stream, The Path of the Hurricane, our second ever Capo Cabana. It'll be fantastic. You will enjoy it. If you're a member, you can join. We'll probably give away some more memberships on Sunday on Mowing After Dark. I like to give that when we get to like 100 people. So, but before we go, I also have to do this as soon as I can find it. There it is. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening. If you've been drinking, don't drive. If you've been driving, done a good job. You haven't wrecked yet. Congratulations. We will catch you guys on the flip side.
Smoking their Tarletons.
Yep. Make sure don't be flicking them Tarletons out the window starting forest fires, guys. Let's not do that.